there, I'm Big Alias, and it's here! It's here! The Call of Duty that no one cared about, that no one liked, that no one's gonna buy, that's absolutely gonna flop, and that the world has given up on. The Call of Duty game that no one's gonna buy. Shut up! Oh my god, internet, whole of the internet, please, just for 5 minutes, shut up about this game, man. Yeah, man, there's so much talk right now, or there was so much talk every year, every single year. You get all of these videos that roll in around about October, late October, early November time, where it's like, Call of Duty is doomed. It's doomed to fail. It's gonna flop. No one's gonna buy it. This time it sucks. This time it's doomed. Yeah, man, Call of Duty YouTubers, they're always very doom and gloom, but they get a lot more doom and gloom around about this time. So this is nothing different. You know, Vanguard is here, and of course people are denouncing the end of Call of Duty. Now look, I would not be surprised. I wouldn't be surprised at all if sales were down a lot with this Call of Duty game. If people really don't seem to care about it. And you know, there's so many like comment. Every time there's an ad for a Call of Duty game, every other comment is, this year I'm done with it. This year I'm not buying it. I bought it every year. I'm not even going to buy it this year. I actually saw a comment on a tweet earlier for a Call of Duty ad. The comment was, my son buys this every year. He's not even going to bother this year. He doesn't care about it. The formula's dead. And all of this stuff. It's like, all right, well, is it your son or is it you? Why would you sit down at the dinner table with a cold, tired, crusty old steak, and your son's like, oh, I've got to tell you about Call of Duty, Mum. It's just, I mean, look, the formula's dead. They're just doing it over and over again, and I'm just not a fan of it. It's so stupid. You know, this does happen every year, but again, I wouldn't be surprised. This is very cut and paste, very similar, and quite tired. But at the same time, look, if it happened every year, I wouldn't be having this conversation with you now. We wouldn't be getting a new Call of Duty game every year, and they wouldn't then go on to be, you know, Call of Duty wouldn't then go on to be the highest selling game almost every year since Call of Duty, I think Modern Warfare 2, maybe even World at War. I mean, I think the only year I could think of that it was ever beat by another FPS, it was only beaten the subsequent year. On the year itself, it still beat Battlefield 1. And that was Infinite Warfare. The one that everyone threw shade on. So don't worry about it. Plus, also, above all else, look, man, here's the thing. None of that matters. None of that matters. As long as the game still has a player base in a year's time, as long as the game is still relevant within a year, and it still has people in the game, as long as you can still find a game within a year's time, none of this matters. Not a single piece of this matters, because you can still play the game, and that's what it's all about ultimately. So yeah, you know, lots of doom and gloom, lots of naysayers. I actually saw, look, man, I like Nero Cinema. I watch his videos every now and then. I've already watched his analysis of Vanguard, but he made a video that was titled something like, they're lying to us, they've done it again, the fools, they think we're stupid. And of course there's flames in the background and a big Treyarch logo plastered in front of it on the thumbnail. And it was about him not liking the dark matter camo for completing all the challenges. Now look, I know it must feel like a real waste of time, but dude, I mean, I just don't do it then, you know? You're not obligated to get dark matter camo, and I really don't think it's that big a deal. I don't know, man, but I do think that, you know, obviously you find a niche and you have to latch onto it, like you know, Charlie does when he does rants in front of his PC. He always wears a white t-shirt, you know, because people expect him to. And Call of Duty YouTubers are all expected to be doom and gloom. But yeah, I know it seems bizarre to open this video with a rant, but it had to be said. I had to do it, and I'll try to play that into a bit at the end. But the game itself, what do I think of Vanguard? This is where I have to eat my words. This is why I look stupid, because I actually have a lot to take back from my beta impressions. I didn't seem too hot on the game during my beta impressions, and I do still agree with a lot of that stuff. I do still think that this sort of does exacerbate the notion that this is quite a tied formula, and that the game is incredibly similar to Modern Warfare 2019, but I'm having a blast. I'm having a really good time with the game, and I actually, oh man, I'm having fun. I mean, I am genuinely enjoying Vanguard, which I really didn't expect to be saying right now. I don't think it's going to be a game that I prestige an awful lot in. I think there's too much competing with it. Coming up, and of course, you know, there's Infinite next month, so for the first time in a long time, I think this is a Call of Duty game where I'm just going to acknowledge that I'll probably prestige once, maybe twice. I'll check out some of the stuff throughout the season. Despite the fact that I like the game, I just think that there's too much running against it. But I am having quite a decent time with the game, which I'm quite surprised by. Now, look, it does play a lot like Modern Warfare, but I will say, actually, I do think there are some differences there that I didn't pick up on in the beta. I think the gameplay itself, like World at War to Call of Duty 4, I think that there's some changes in animations. It's a lot floatier and swimmier, and I don't like that. I don't think it's an improvement on Modern Warfare, but it does somehow, and as weird as this may seem, it feels both refreshing and different slightly, but also incredibly familiar to how it used to be. It really does feel the same things at the same time. Like I'll be double tap sprinting going, man, this is Modern Warfare, but then when I shoot, it's like, this feels a little bit different. Also, that is exacerbated by the maps. The maps are entirely different. For the first time in years, we have a half decent number of maps. Oh my god, I haven't been able to say that since I don't even know when. I mean, Black Ops 4 had an okay number of maps. I think it had around about 12, maybe 13, maybe even 14. This had 16 maps at launch. Yes! And that is a decent bundle of maps. That is a number I'd expect at this point in gaming. In 2021, I'd expect it to have at least as many as it did back in the day. And this is 16 maps, and a lot of them are very good. I liked almost all of them. I don't like Decoy. I don't know why they went for the fake town aesthetic. I think that worked, as weird as this is going to sound. I think that worked better when the graphics weren't quite as good in gaming. Of course, this is, you know, harkens back to Nuketown, but with Nuketown, because the fidelity of the graphics and the colors didn't pop quite as much as they do now, you got away with it because it felt fake, but also kind of rustic and realistic at the same time. It just kind of looks lame. It really doesn't look good. It reminds me more of that map in Infinite Warfare that was set in like this town where I can't even describe it. It's just incredibly similar to this. If I can find some gameplay, I'll put it up. I really don't like the map Decoy, but every other map, I think I like every other map. I really can't think of a map that I don't like out of all these. And the great thing is, because there are so many, I played this for 6 hours straight when it came out on the launch night, and I didn't even touch Red Star. I didn't play Red Star. I don't even know. I honestly don't know whether I've played every map in this game, actually. The maps really are the star of the show here, though, so I guess it would make sense that I naturally gravitate towards these, because it is the biggest difference here. Now, scaling-wise, it really shows where this game is. It's kind of like Cold War, in that it takes a lot of the stuff from Modern Warfare, a lot of the gameplay elements that I did really like, but it simplifies it, and the maps aren't quite as big or complex or interesting as they were in Modern Warfare, but that kind of is a bit of a refuge. I liked it a lot in Modern Warfare, but I see the value in a more sort of simplified method for map design. Now, look, yeah, that's 3-lane maps, and I'm not a fan of that. I don't like the fact that they've gone back to these hyper-funneled 3-lane maps, but it's not nearly as bad as it was during the real, like, downward period for Call of Duty. They're not as cut and paste and familiar between one another as they used to be. You know, you can tell that these are 3-lane maps, but they do offer something different between one another, and you don't get this sense, you know, that you're just playing on the same map but with a different skin within every match. So that's good, you know. And again, I'm not a huge fan of the fact that some of the elements have been scaled down a little bit. When you compare like the size of a building in Modern Warfare 2019 to the size of, you know, like for example the buildings on one of the snow maps that I actually like a lot, you can definitely tell that the buildings have been scaled down a little bit from Modern Warfare. But aside from that, I think they all play well. A few too many rooftop maps maybe, but aside from that, one thing I really like, one thing that I gently briefly touched on in my beta impressions, but one thing that I really like about this game actually is the map effects, how dynamic a lot of the maps feel. Now, this doesn't apply to every map, but some of the maps will have like a blizzard or some rain. And on, I think it's Berlin, the way the rain hits one of the rooftops that slants above you and then like sprays off of it looks really cool. It really adds a dramatic effect to it. And there's lighting in the map, and the lighting sort of hits the rain, you know, and pierces through it and makes the map look a lot more interesting, you know. And obviously I reviewed that map. I can't remember what the name of the map is. I can't remember most of the names of these maps, but the one with the big ship in the middle, I love the rain in that, and the way the trees just, you know, get hit with the wind, and it really, you know, barrels through them, kind of like in The Witcher. And I honestly, the map Numa I absolutely loved. I absolutely loved Numa. It felt like a proper World at War map. And speaking of which, you know, one little dirty secret is that I absolutely, World at War is one of my favorite campaigns of all time in Call of Duty, but I had never played the multiplayer. So it's so great to have a couple of remasters from World at War that they didn't actually change. I think the sub whatever one, I think that is supposed to be a remake as well, but it isn't officially or something like that. Now, both of the remasters I really like. Castle is my favorite, by far and away my favorite map in the entire rotation of the game. I absolutely adore this map. This is, I know it's a remaster, but this is the best Call of Duty map. I'm talking about better than anything from Modern Warfare. This map is quintessential Call of Duty, and it's perfect, and I absolutely adore it. Aesthetically, it's gorgeous. The way the cherry blossom falls from the trees, the way the light peers through the windows, you know, the whole aesthetic of it, the layout, the size, everything is perfect about this map, and every time I have a match in it, it feels great. They have this new thing which I really like, where they up the number of team members, teammates, whatever, in the game. So sometimes the game will be 6v6, sometimes 8v8, or 12v12, or, you know, something huge like that. And in Castle, you really get the sense there's this huge battle going on, and I absolutely love that. I feel the same way, by the way, about Numa, which is also one of my top maps in this game. But Castle is so incredible. I absolutely love that map. Every time it comes up, God, I'm so happy. We do need map voting, though. There's a couple of other new elements, like at the end you can vote for who you thought the MVP was out of 3. Unfortunately, they need to add some variation to that, because you get 3 identical animations with 3 different specialists, and it looks kind of dumb, but it's cool. It's a neat way of you choosing who you thought had the play of the game, or, you know, was the MVP. But overall, yeah, I mean, the reason I'm not really talking about the gameplay very much is because it is incredibly similar to Modern Warfare. There's lots of guns to choose from, although being a World War game, you run into that issue where they all kind of feel the same. The red dot sights, some of them look a little bit goofy, I'll be honest with you. Killstreak's alright, you know, just your typical stuff. I, again, like Modern Warfare, don't really use the... I don't even know what it's called, the LBRB thing, where you put something down. Yeah, but ultimately, I had a really good time with it. I mean, you know, leveling up is quick, as it should be, and feels rewarding. Unlocking stuff is fast and feels rewarding. The gunsmith is great. I still like it. The weapons are fun to use, and though I don't think it's as groundbreaking as Modern Warfare was, or as interesting as Modern Warfare was, I really I'm having a good time with it, and I hope, you know, as much as I think I'm going to play Infinite Warfare a lot, I do see myself coming back to Vanguard, because I'm just, you know, it's a lot of fun. I love the maps. I love the way that it feels like, you know, Sledgehammer Games really felt as though they were trying to make a sequel to World at War with World War II, and I don't think they really hit the mark. I think they got closer with this. I think they got a lot closer to a true successor to World at War with this game, and I think that's a great thing. And this is going to be, you know, I'm about to get into controversial stuff, but I think that this is a damn sight more interesting than Battlefield 2042. I'm glad I went for this and not Battlefield. I don't think I'm going to be picking up Battlefield when it comes out, because when I played that, I was bored running around doing nothing, and with this, there's never a dull moment. And I think that's probably the biggest strength, actually, of Vanguard, aside from the maps being great, is that there is never a dull moment in this game. I haven't touched Champion Hill, I haven't touched Zombies, but I have touched the campaign. Of course, I had to have a few missions in the campaign, as I do in my first few days of any new Call of Duty game, and I've got to say, I fucking love this campaign. Oh my, this campaign is so great. It's up there. It is up there with my top campaigns. I think World at War and Modern Warfare, World at War and Black Ops 1 will always be my favorite Call of Duty campaigns. This is probably on par with Modern Warfare 2 so far. It's spectacular visually, and I've got to say, one thing that really holds this campaign up is the soundtrack does so much work. I can't remember who the name of the composer is, which is really embarrassing, but apparently they composed the soundtrack for God of War, and it is stunning. Oh my god, it is so good. It's up there with the Modern Warfare 2 soundtrack, which I absolutely adored. It is a beautiful soundtrack, and I will say this now, without a shadow of a doubt, it does the most work a soundtrack ever does in a Call of Duty campaign. It is the best execution of a soundtrack I have ever seen in a Call of Duty campaign. A soldier, an enemy soldier, will come barreling towards you with a bayonet charge, and the strings will just get harsh and go, you know, that's not how it sounds, but it builds tension so beautifully, and it's so grandiose and so epic, and the strings just cut through the events that are happening and really exacerbate everything that's happening in front of you, and it is beautiful. Oh my god, visually, this unfortunately, so far during the daytime stuff, I don't think it was quite as visually interesting, but it's the nighttime stuff. Unfortunately, this game takes place mostly at night. So far, it's taken place mostly at night. There's great heightened moments of tension, again exacerbated by beautiful soundtrack, but you'll get like you'll just be walking through like under this house, and voices will echo around you, and dust will fall in front of the screen. It's just such a beautiful campaign. I'm having a great time with it. The story, not too invested in. It's alright. It's a spin-off Call of Duty game, really, if you think about it. And the characters, they're okay. I like Kingsley. I like all of the characters, actually. I can't think of their names, but the Australian one, the female character, they're okay. I will say that, unfortunately, firstly, the voice acting on some of the characters isn't too great, but there's a horrible lip sync issue, which kind of harkens back to Cold War. It's not as bad as Cold War, because at least the third-person cinematics actually work in this game, and they look absolutely beautiful. But there are a lot of, this is where most of the sort of issues will come with regards to performance. It will freeze. My game froze a lot. The audio just completely cuts out sometimes. And again, there's a huge lip syncing issue. And I wish the whole thing was in first person, man, because the first person storytelling in this game is really great. Like, literally, the game opens and you slide open this train door and the world reveals itself to you, and there's rain cascading in front of you, and the sky is lit with an orange glow from all of the bombing runs, and there's characters either side of you discussing what to do, and it's really so beautiful that I wish the whole game was shown through a first-person perspective. Alas, it is not. But speaking of technical issues, let's round this off by talking about how polished this is. It's a lot more polished than the beta was, and a damn sight more polished than Cold War was during its launch, and I'm so grateful of that. Unfortunately, there are issues here and there. The biggest issue I faced was with lighting. Every now and then, and I really don't know why, I don't know if anyone else has had this issue, the lighting of the game would follow me around, and everything around it would be quite dimmed. It wasn't unplayable, but it just made every map that I played on with this issue look absolutely terrible. The lighting hadn't loaded in properly, and also I think usually when that happened there was a bit of texture popping as well. So the lighting would follow me around like some sort of god light, like I was having an epiphany, like that moment in The Simpsons movie. Of all films, The Simpsons movie. Anyway, where the god ray just falls down on Grandpa Abraham. And it is an issue there, but aside from that, it's been quite smooth, man. I didn't get kicked out. Oh, there is an issue. I think this might be a me problem though, and it's definitely an Xbox issue where, for some reason, and I don't know why, whenever I play the game, it's always updating. I don't know why. It literally, when you open the sidebar, it will say updating every single time. And when I finish playing the game, it will continue updating. I really don't know what that is. I don't know why it's doing that, and I've never encountered this issue before, but when I check the progress of the update, it doesn't give me a memory, it just says finishing it up or something like that. So I really don't know what's going on there. But I haven't been kicked out of too many games. I think I got kicked out of one. There aren't really many, fame popping issues aside from the ones that I mentioned. And yeah, there's not even that much lag. I mean, it's kind of running well. It doesn't even have that issue that Cold War had, where every now and then I'd load in and the frame rate would be absolutely dog shite and there'd be no vibration in my controller for reasons I don't know. So yeah, overall, Vanguard didn't blow me away. It wasn't groundbreaking, but honestly, it's a lot of fun. It's one of those Call of Duties that I think is very, inoffensive. I don't think it's awful. I don't think it changed all that much. It very much applies a if it ain't broke, don't fix it filter, or system, and I think that works for it. I think it plays well, and I look forward to seeing what they do with it in the future. Now, I'm just going to make one statement before I go that feeds into why I ranted at the start. Why did I open this with a rant? Well, here's the thing. I just get this feeling, I've got this prediction about this game that in the future, this is going to be one of those Call of Duties that's considered to be a classic. And that right now, everybody's hating on it, everybody's saying it's going to flop. I'm going to plot my flag in the ground now and say this. In a few years' time, people are going to say, oh, it's such a shame people don't make Call of Duty like this anymore. Oh, do you remember when it was good? Oh, I always liked it. I always thought it was great. Even the people making videos saying that it was terrible and that it's going to flop. Oh, I always thought it was going to... I always thought it was great. I had a great time with it. Yeah, and this is when Call of Duty was good. This was when they made masterpieces. Not like now. The Call of Duty cycle is going to come into full effect with Vanguard. I guarantee it. I just get a feeling that it's one of those Call of Duty games that plays well and that people will enjoy when they come back to it. But right now, because, you know, they're so angry about it, they are going to get angry about it. But then they'll get nostalgic in a few years' time. I am calling this right now. Come back to this video in a few years' time if you are watching it and compare it to all of the videos saying, oh, it's underappreciated, underrated, gem. I always thought it was great. I always did. I can't wait for all of these Call of Duty YouTubers to call this an underrated, fantastic Call of Duty game from when they were great. But look at it now. It's hated. You know, people really do not like this game, but it is, honestly, it's fine. I think there's enough here for me to recommend it. The campaign is absolutely beautiful so far. So far, about 3 or 4 missions in, I'd absolutely recommend this campaign because it's beautiful. It is such an immersive, stunning campaign to look at. And the soundtrack alone, I mean, if you need to, just listen to the soundtrack. It's so beautiful. But anyway, those are my thoughts on Vanguard. Yep, it's that time of year again where I talk about Call of Duty and then play it for a month and, you know, actually, to be honest, I played a lot of Cold War, so that, yeah, not particularly accurate statement, but yeah, with this one, I think it is just going to be a month because look forward to my Infinite review. I played this game, but I'm so hyped for Infinite. I really can't wait for that game, so look forward to that. Maybe I'll play Battlefield 2042. I do have EA access or Game Pass Ultimate, so I may actually have the resources to make a review for that, so we'll see how that goes. But right now, would I recommend Vanguard? Yeah, I probably would. It might be a little too expensive right now. Maybe wait until it's about 10 or 20 pounds cheaper. But yeah, I'd probably recommend it. It's a lot of fun. Anyway, thanks for watching, and I will see everyone later.